Welcome back to the Fuel Show. Still to come, we're going to take a look at the 2007 VW Passat wagon, and Dennis will be in the pits. Now, it's only a short time ago in 1983 when the Lexus car company was born. Toyota decided it wanted to take on the world's automakers with its own luxury car. This year, Lexus officially split from Toyota and now uses its own design studio and its own design team. That team's latest offering is the LS 460. Here's Dennis and Ian to review this car in our first Behind the Wheel.
Thanks, Nick. Our first category is QFactor. It's the Gadget Tech score for the new LS 460 by Lexus.
Now, I tell you what, man, when you're talking about QFactor, this car had just about everything you can possibly imagine.
And some.
Oh, man. Name another car that can park itself, a cooler in the back. How about a 30-gig hard drive for all your music? What is that, about 8,000 songs?
Yeah, how about a GPS navigation system with real-time traffic updates so it can tell you the quickest route to get to work or home or wherever you're trying to find?
Or when you're constantly lost trying to find the studio.
It's also got Mark Levinson surround sound 7.1 system with 19 speakers.
How many?
19.
Wow, no wonder I can't hear anymore. I'm telling you what, we don't dish this out very often, but we came to an agreement here. It's a perfect 5, and we don't give perfect scores out very often, but when you're talking about QFactor, this new LS 460 is at the top of its game and pretty much the top of everybody's game. A perfect 5.0.
The next category for the new LS 460 is curb appeal. It's kind of presence when it pulls up on a scene.
That's right, and you know what? We were a little tough on the Lexus LS 460, and we'll tell you why. We're both big body sedan lovers. My friend over here is a big Cadillac lover. I love the Mercedes-Benz S-Class, so it had a high mark to shoot for. When it comes to looks, it has to be striking when you're talking about a high-dollar sedan that's in the luxury category. It has to have something that really makes it stand out. And I think that we both can agree that for some reason the LS just didn't stand out to us. Now, it has kind of that crisp bangle rear end on it, I guess.
Yeah, it's got a high deck lid and big shoulders, and they call the new body style L Finesse, but not quite enough finesse for us.
Yeah, it just kind of was slabbish, I think is the way we might put it. For curb appeal, we're going to have to go kind of middle of the road. I think we're going to go, what was it?
3.25.
Yeah, it's a tough way to score the vehicle, but that's where we're at.
Next up for the new LS 460 is performance, and this big sedan sure does perform. 380 horsepower, 367 foot-pounds of torque, and for the first time ever, an 8-speed transmission.
8-speed transmission, I'll never believe that. Hey, I'll tell you what, it may weigh 4,800 plus pounds, but it doesn't mean that it isn't blistering fast. 5.4 seconds 0 to 60 and a 13.8 at about 115 miles an hour in the quarter mile. Now, I don't know if you know where that is, but that puts you at about mid-90s Z28 SS style. Now, that's a pretty darn quick sedan.
Yeah, it is. I think overall, though, you have to look at it as its whole package. Balance, handling, and what it's intended for, so we can't give it too high of a score.
Yeah, but it's a big car. It does have power, it does have balance, but it just weighs a lot. And I think some ways that kind of takes away from the overall score. But what do you think, Ian?
I'd say 375.
It's fair with me, 375 in performance.
That brings us to fit and finish, which is the overall build quality and material quality put into a vehicle. And Lexus for a long time, a string of first places with J.D. Power and Associates in initial quality, customer satisfaction, dependability, and they've even employed a Takumi, which is a Takumi, a feeling expert to get inside the car and make sure you're getting the experience that you're looking for.
I don't know. Was that a
Not that kind of feeling experience.
Man. Hey, I can tell you one of the things I thought was really interesting is they actually have people that do hand sanding on these cars. Now, coming from an ex-body and paint guy, let me tell you something. New cars aren't painted by hand anymore. They're not hand finished anymore. Unless, of course, you're talking about a Ferrari or a Maserati. This is a production vehicle that's put on a block, put together by hand. And I think that lends a lot to the build quality. We talked about how we don't give perfect scores out very often. It's not perfect, but it's pretty darn close. What do you think?
I say 475. It's as close to perfect as we usually give.
That's right, but no car's built exactly perfect.
Now finally, it's on to drivability for the new Lexus LS 460. And there are two things that I want to get to, definitely. Advanced pre-collision system. If you're about to be in an accident, the car senses it. It senses if your eyes haven't been on the road for long enough, and then starts to adjust to make compensations by itself before the accident happens. The other thing is that the long wheelbase models, automatic doors in the back.
Well, wow. There's
That's
a lot
sweet.
Well, there's a lot to like on this Lexus, you know. Overall, it had good power.
Yep.
It has great build quality. And the gadget score, like we said, is something that we don't give out very often, a perfect 5.0. But drivability is kind of middle of the road. You know, there's a lot of things to like about it. There's some things that just aren't exciting about it. And I think that's where it suffered a little bit. If you put some real passion, some heritage, and maybe a little soul into this car, it might be even higher than what it is anyway. But Ian?
Well, I think overall we still have to score it high. The one main reason is because of the other ultra sports sedans that it runs with is it's about 10 grand less than the lowest of its competitors.
That's a big point to hit.
Yeah, so I would say 4.25.
Yep, he's right on the money.
Let's see how Dennis and Ian scored the Lexus LS 460. In QFactor, a perfect 5.0, which is an extremely rare score for Dennis and Ian to give out. In curb appeal, a 3.25. Performance, a 3.75. Dennis and Ian gave fit and finish a 4.75. And in drivability, a 4.25. The total score for the 2007 Lexus LS 460 was 21 points out of a possible 25. Coming up in the Fuel Show, Dennis will be in the pits. And in our second Behind the Wheel, we'll take a look at the 2007 VW Passat wagon.